Okay. It says this poor scientist can only afford to turn on one light bulb as he works. Select one of the light bulbs to be turned on as the light source, then add shading to the entire scene based on which light is on. I chose the light for you. It's the upper left light. And I also drew lines, like vanishing point lines, coming out from it. Do you know what these lines represent? Shives? The rays of light coming from the light bulb. So if you can picture things in your head pretty good, you can figure out what should be shaded and what shouldn't. And what we're going to do first is we're going to pick what we think are the darkest parts, where the deepest shadows would be. We're going to take one section at a time. Question? Okay. All right, I'm going to start with this ball right here. Can you guys see the screen and see me okay? All right, if the light is hitting this ball this way, where's the darkest part of the ball going to be, Shives? This side or that side? This side? Okay, so let's put a little dark shadow right there. She's not there. Oh, okay. Just lay it down somewhere, it's fine. The paper that I gave you. Okay, so this ball is being hit basically the same way, right? This one. So I'm going to put a shadow in about the same spot. And what about this ball? The light's hitting it this way. The darkest part would be under here, wouldn't it? If you think I'm wrong, tell me. This little ball is being bombarded on the top. So this bottom part's going to be the darkest. We're shading. You need a wooden pencil. You can just pick up where I am. You don't have to go back and do stuff. Now, let's look at the pipes over here. I've got light coming this way. The ball is in front of this pipe though. So this pipe's going to be darker, and then it's going to get lighter as it goes over. Can you see the screen okay? Yep. The light is hitting here. It's going to be a tiny bit darker right here in front of this washer or nut or whatever it is. The light's going to be hitting here, so on this side it's going to be a little darker. Light's going to be hitting on this side, so it's still going to be darker on this side going down. However, the light's going to start hitting the top of this, which is going to make this, the bottom part, darker. And where this attaches, it's going to be a little darker right here because the ball is blocking the light. And this ball would be a little darker right in here. Do you see a pattern with the balls? They're all the same. Okay, the light's going to hit the top of this pipe, so underneath it's going to be a little darker. And now the light's hitting the top. Underneath here is going to be a little darker, but not like tremendously dark. And this hole at the end of the pipe is going to be darker here and get lighter as it comes out. Do you know why? Can you picture how the light would maybe go in the beginning of it a little bit? Am I going too fast? Because if I am, tell me. Okay, the neck of this thing, light on the left side, dark on the right side. If you're good at picturing things, it helps. This cone shape, the light's going to be hitting it right here, which means it's going to be darker on the left side. This cone, the light's hitting it on the inside right here. And on the top, the darkest part's going to be right there. The top of this pipe is going to be lighter and the bottom is going to be dark. And when I say dark, I mean dark. Okay, I don't want you just barely shading. I want you to make the dark places dark. The thing that makes things 3D is having your darks really dark and your lights really light. Look at the door in the background. Can you see these brick outlines of the arch? There's a little thing inside the thickness of the brick. It's going to be dark because the light rays don't hit it. Not the whole brick, just the inside part. On the other side, it's not going to be nearly as dark. It's just going to be a medium gray because the light does get to that. The neck underneath this ball, the light's going to hit the right side, left side, sorry, left side. I'm going to darken the right side. Here's another cone. The light's going to hit all around here. It's going to be darker right here. Have I done all the pipes on, no, this one. Lighter here, darker on the right. Have I done all the pipes on this side now? Okay, and do you see these little joint things where the pipes join together? I just like to do them dark to use them as an accent, if you know what I mean. Bless you. Okay. And this little turn twisty here, I'm not going to make it black, but I'm just going to darken it in medium gray to make it show up. The pipes that go over here, the light's going to hit the top, which means underneath is going to be dark. However, the light's going to come down and hit the top and the left side, so inside of it is going to be dark. And then this top is going to be light, and this bottom is going to be dark. So it sort of switches off as it curves. The spout is going to be lighter on the left, darker on the right. There's a little ball in the spare parts box. The light is hitting it. It's going to be mostly light, but where it overlaps in the box is going to be dark. And then there's a little pipe jutting out of the spare parts box. The top of it's going to be light, bottom of it's going to be dark. Let's go back to the door a minute. The bricks, the light's going to hit the left side. So I'm going to, do you remember how we did sidewalks where we went down one side and across the bottom? You're going to go down lightly and go across the bottom a little bit. And go down on the right side and across the bottom a little bit. And down the right side, across the bottom. All the way. Just on this side though. This top brick, the light's hitting the top of it. It'll be just a little dark underneath. Same with this one. Now the light is going to come toward the inside of this brick, which means that on this side it's going to be darker on the outside and go in. Darker on the outside and go in. And for wood grain, I basically follow the lines that are already there and like make them thicker with shadows. All I'm doing is following the lines that are already there, making them a little darker. If you want to add your own lines a little bit, you can. Knot holes, I try to make a little darker. Then with my finger or tissue paper or Kleenex or whatever, I smudge the lines that I did. And that's how I do wood grain. I think the door is done. Actually though, where the key goes in, I'm going to make it just a little darker so it sticks out. Do you see any pipes we've left out now? The handle here, I think I'm going to make those inside shapes dark to make the handle stick out. Does that make sense? These little shapes inside here. And since we just learned how to do wood grain, I'm going to do it down here in the spare parts box. I'm going to follow the lines that they have and make them thick and sort of shady like. And then I'm going to use my finger and do that. To make it look like wood. Are you with me? We're going to do the guy now. I'm going to start with the test tube. Test tubes are usually clear glass, and they have a cork in them. Do you use test tubes in your science classes ever? Where the cork goes in, it's going to be a little darker right where it goes into the tube. And since the light goes through the tube, the only thing I'm going to do is accent the bottom part of the tube a little bit with a little shadow. It's not going. It's not. All right. The light's hitting his bald head on the left side, right? There's going to be a little shadow over on the right side. Now remember when we shaded people, the faces, there's like a triangle shape for your cheekbone right there. And there's some shading where your chin sticks out. And this is going to be darker. This ear is going to be darker. This side of the nose is going to be darker. The painted part of the pencil I'm going to make a little darker so it sticks out more. Left side of the neck is going to be lighter. Right side of the neck is going to be darker. And his glasses, I'm going to make this glass just a little darker. Is there anything else I should do to the face to show where the light is? Okay, let's go to his hand over here. It's shaking the test tube. Where your fingers meet, there's usually a little shadow in between. And what I do is I just go over it and darken it. Sort of like the wood lines. Now the back of his hand's getting full light, so I'm just going to leave it white. The cuff of his shirt is going to be lighter on the left and a little darker on the right. Where his shirt goes down into his lab coat, this lab coat is going to cause a shadow right inside on the shirt. Down the right side and then down across the arm in front of where the lab coat is. Now let's talk about wrinkles. When you have wrinkles in your clothes, the part that gets the most light is the actual top of the wrinkle that's sticking out. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is where the light's going to hit, but then immediately behind a wrinkle there's usually a dark shadow because the wrinkle's blocking the light. This would be a wrinkle and it would be lighter, so there's going to be a little dark here. And this is a wrinkle, so there's going to be a little dark behind it. Here's a wrinkle, it's going to be a little dark behind it. Here's a wrinkle, there's going to be a little dark behind it. Now his armpit is getting a lot of light because the way the light's coming. So this side's going to stay lighter. Let's go over to his collar. The collar is going to be mostly light. But do you see where the collar stops? There's going to be a shadow because collars are up higher and they cast a shadow on your shirt. And the lapel of his lab coat, this collar, is going to be lighter, but right behind it there's going to be a shadow. Not a big one, but a shadow. his elbow over here is not getting a whole lot of light. It's going to be darker near his body, and then it's going to get lighter as it goes out away from his body. This is his arm. I'm going to make it darker on the sides and leave it lighter in the middle. And remember how we did the other fingers? We just sort of traced the lines and made them thicker. That's what we're going to do here. This clipboard doesn't see, the back of it doesn't see any direct light. Can you picture that? All the light's hitting the front of the clipboard. However, where the light is around the edges where it diffuses. So the actual edges of the clipboard are going to be light. But then as you go toward the middle, it's going to gradually get darker. The clipboard is going to cast a little shadow down here on his jacket. And he has things in his pocket, and it's making his pocket stick out. Can you see? So this is like a big wrinkle. It's going to be light inside, but it's going to be darker on the outside. So it goes along with making it look like something's in his pocket. And I'm going to darken whatever it is. I'm not sure what it is, just so it shows up good. So is there anything we've forgotten down to the bottom of the lab coat on him? Okay, pants. He has 2 legs. Here's a foot.